by David Gillespie Updated October 2, 2017 090516. It is possible to avoid war in Korea, but only by doing the one thing Donald Trump will find near impossible: building trust. According to classic deterrence theory, the only way to convince a nuclear-armed opponent that you will use your nukes is to have them believe you value the targets they can threaten. If they can directly target your homeland, then, the theory goes, you will retaliate if it is attacked. But it is significantly harder to be convincing when it comes to your allies. Would Americans really risk San Francisco if Seoul, or Darwin, was threatened? This is exactly the strategic calculus going on in North Korea today. The decades of peace created by the Cold War showed us the way to deter opportunistic aggression is to create a tight-knit community of your allies, such as the U.S. did in Europe after World War II. To accomplish this, the U.S. should ensure complete unanimity of message and purpose. There should be nothing unpredictable about their reactions for either their enemies or their allies. There should not even be the slightest hint the U.S. can in any way be decoupled from them. If the U.S. believes this, and their allies believe this, then it is likely their enemies will not be prepared to risk attacking an ally for fear of retribution from the U.S. Mixing paranoia with power. Clearly, Donald Trump is marching to the beat of a different drum. His Twitter tantrums accusing South Korea of appeasement, combined with his demands that allies pay for their own defense, are telling the North the U.S. can be, and even wants to be, separated from its allies. It is also telling the allies they cannot trust the U.S. This is exactly what Kim Jong-un wants. His endgame, for now, is to force the U.S. to trade South Korea for a threat against U.S. oil. At some point, he will force the South to surrender to him to avert nuclear disaster, and the South will capitulate because they think the U.S. will not risk its own cities to save theirs. In short, Mr. Kim is behaving exactly the way psychopathic dictators always do. Psychopaths do not fear punishment. They cannot be threatened into submission. They can only be destroyed, held at bay, or directed down a path of greater reward for them. They are motivated only by paranoia and reward. Kim Jong-un is paranoid the U.S. will do to him what it did to Saddam Hussein and Muammar Gaddafi. The nukes are insurance against that, and a threat that can get him the jewel he desperately seeks: a unified Korean peninsula under his control. As with all psychopaths, bellicose threats are water off a duck's back. His strategy is to fan the flames of distrust between allies that should be standing shoulder to shoulder against him. And so far, Mr. Trump has done nothing but help. Like dealing with a psychopathic boss, there is absolutely no difference between this approach and the one employed by your psychopathic boss. And the solution is exactly the same: solidarity. One of the proven strategies for immunizing a workplace or any group of humans against a psychopathic boss is to ensure all members of the team trust each other. When all communication is honest and open and the team cooperates to attain a shared goal, there are no levers and wedges for the workplace psychopath to use. Trust and cooperation will always defeat psychopathic manipulation. Exactly the same is true at the national scale. Kim Jong-un must believe South Korea, Japan, Australia, and the U.S. will act as one if any of them is threatened. More importantly, we must believe it too. Mr. Trump must immediately stop destroying the trust allies have in the U.S. Every trust-draining tweet does nothing more than further embolden Mr. Kim. He must immediately commence a process of unification of purpose in that alliance. It will be hard for him. He attained power using exactly the strategy being deployed by Mr. Kim: divide and conquer. Trust, cooperation, and unity are alien concepts to Mr. Trump, and the opposite of what has worked personally for him so far. His gut reaction to any threat is to blame others, and his impulsivity means this is often communicated in the heat of the moment. But if the world is to have any chance of avoiding nuclear war, he must build trust. And if he can't, America must find a way to do it without him. Not doing this guarantees war on the Korean peninsula. Doing it will guarantee peace. It won't be a rainbows and lollipops kind of peace. It will be a teeth-grinding, Egyptesian peace that is constantly tested. But at least nobody dies. David Gillespie is the author of Taming Toxic People: The Science of Identifying and Dealing with Psychopaths at Work and at Home. Topics: Psychology, Foreign Affairs, Defensive Forces, Defense and National Security, World Politics, Government and Politics, Core Democratic B plus Republic of, Career Republic of, United States, Australia. First posted October 2, 2017 070306.